Good afternoon, everybody. This is the Planning and Zoning Commission of the City of Socorro, Texas. It is April 1st, 2025, 5:32 p.m. We call this meeting to order.
Good afternoon. Item number 2, establishment of quorum. Andrew Arroyos,
Here.
Enrique Cisneros, absent. David Estrada,
Here.
Julie Dominguez,
Here.
Osvaldo Reza, absent. Yolanda Rodriguez.
Here.
We have a quorum with 4 commissioners present. Item number 3, open forum. Alfredo, do we have anyone that would like to speak?
Yes, we have Jose Alcala, and that'll be for open forum for item number 9.
Okay, so he would like to speak on item number 9, correct?
Correct.
Thank you. Number 4, consent agenda. Do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion.
I second.
Although I have a motion made by Julie Dominguez, second by Andrew Arroyos to approve. All those in favor of the motion?
Aye.
Any nays? Any abstain?
I abstain.
Motion carried. Regular agenda. Item number 5, public hearing for the proposed conditional use permit to allow for a commercial truck parking in a C2 general commercial zoning district and a variance request from section 46-637-1 fence requirements, subsection C, screening requirements between zoning districts. Number 2, subsection 2, a 6-foot high masonry fence shall be erected B, between all residents and commercial districts by the owner of the commercial district, to construct a metal siding fence instead of the 6-foot height masonry fence requirement of track A-C-1 and track A-C-18, block 15, Socorro Grant, located at 10950 Alameda Avenue, Socorro, Texas. Mr. Arroyos?
Good afternoon. We open public hearing at 5:34.
And we have one speaker, Ms. Vanessa Zuniga. If you may please come up to the podium and state your name.
Hi, my name is Vanessa Zuniga. Thank you. I came to this meeting just because I have a concern regarding the one bridge that goes down our dead-end street where like maybe 6 or 7 houses are towards the back of his property. So you have to kind of go in there to see us, but we're there. And my concern is that bridge. There's been times where I've come home like at 3 or 4 o'clock and the traffic is really bad going down Alameda. And there's big semi-trucks just blocking that bridge. And I'm coming, the traffic's behind me. I honk, I flash my lights, they don't see me, they don't move back, and I have to end up, going up all the way Alameda and then turn around somewhere to just go home. That bridge is very narrow, so there's a lot of damage to the curb, I'm assuming from the big semi-trucks that have gone in and out. I've seen some big tanker trucks. I don't know what they carry, but the big flammable sign on the tanker truck is scary to me. It's our only exit and entry point, so I'm thinking if there's a fire, where are we gonna go? How are we gonna get out? And our residents, it's like a block or 2 with 6 or 7 homes. Everybody there is older than I am, so like if something were to happen, an ambulance needs to come in, how are they gonna get in if that bridge messes up? It's very old, we've been there for 20 years. And I have seen people come and repair it a little bit here and there, but I don't think it has that much life in it, to be honest. I also have a daughter who is type 1. She's insulin dependent. So my fear is if I have to call the ambulance for her, how are they going to get through as well? I also care for my grandson who's 1 year old, and he's little, so he can get into anything. So my fear is the cops to come in, the ambulance to have a way to come in, and if any fire were to occur, how are they gonna come and, tend to us? And like I said, our little village, there's a lot of older people, so I'm pretty sure, in my past 20 years, I've only had to call the cops once because somebody did wreck my son's car outside the gate. But, you know, it's just a matter of time when somebody's gonna have to come and maybe render aid for somebody who's living there. That's my only concern, is just the bridge, and if there was a fire, how do we get out, how do they come in? And the traffic, it's like a very narrow bridge, only one car fits in there, so it's not like, you know, the ones that you guys just built over here on, by the high school, where there's enough for 2 traffic, you know? It's really, really small, so we have to wait for them to move. And a lot of the people who live there know our cars, so if I see my neighbor coming in and I'm on the bridge, I'll reverse back and let them come in, because I know they're gonna come in. But sometimes, like I say, the truckers that come and go, they'll be on their phones, they don't recognize us. So that's just my only concern, is the bridge being narrow, the damage to it, the weight on it, and if there was a fire, how do people come in and out to help, you know, if anything.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. And we have another speaker, Daniel Trejo.
Sí, buenas tardes.
Buenas
Yo-
tardes.
bueno, yo no sé inglés, ahí disculpe,
No tenga
Español,
cuidado.
pero pues yo nomás vengo porque pues yo no tengo nada en contra de este señor que él siga trabajando ahí en su terreno. Mientras no se meta conmigo, por mí no hay ningún problema, que él siga trabajando siempre y cuando se hagan las cosas bien, ¿verdad? Nomás es todo lo que quiero decir.
Gracias.
That would be all the speakers we have signed in to speak on that item.
We will close public hearing at 5:39 PM.
Item number 6, consider and take action on the proposed conditional use permit to allow for a commercial truck parking in a C2 general commercial zoning district and a variance request from section 46-637, wall and fence requirements subsection C, screening requirement between zoning districts. 2, a 6-foot high masonry fence shall be erected between all residents and commercial districts by the owner of the commercial district to construct a metal siding fence instead of the 6-foot high masonry fence requirement on track 8-C-1 and track 8-C-18, block 15, Socorro Grande, located at 10950 Alameda Avenue, Socorro, Texas. Mr. Botello?
Chairman, if you don't mind, I'd like to just point out an inconsistency with the staff report and the item as it was published and advertised. The caption, as it is in the agenda, is what we are considering today. I'm noticing in the staff report that it says conditional use permit to allow for a commercial truck parking and mobile home repair. The mobile home repair is not in question. Right now, we're just considering the conditional use permit for the commercial truck parking.
Okay,
And I'll let Jose continue.
thank you.
Good evening, Mr. Chair and Commissioners. Jose Botello, planner with the City of Socorro. Item number 6 on the agenda is the conditional use permit request at 10950 Alameda Avenue. Some general information on this conditional use permit request. The property owner and representative is Mr. Manuel Quesada, who's present here at the meeting today. The lot size for this property is 4.36 acres. The zoning for the property is C2, which is general commercial. The current land use is commercial, and the future land use map listed this property as neighborhood commercial. So the request is for approval of a conditional use permit to allow for commercial truck parking. There's also a variance request from section 46-637, which is wall and fence requirements, under subsection C, screening requirements between zoning districts. Under that section, it's subsection 2B, to allow a 6-foot metal siding fence instead of the 6-foot masonry fence requirement at 10950 Alameda Avenue. And planning and zoning staff recommends denial of the conditional use permit request. And the staff is also recommending denial of the variance request. You'll see why in a moment. And so this property is situated within very close vicinity to Alameda Avenue. And it abuts Carrillo Lane and Vara Court. The next slide, you'll see the zoning map. The property is outlined in a thick yellow line. The red is signaling the C2 general commercial zoning district for the property. And so you'll see some pictures taken from Alameda and Vara Court. You could see that the bridge is in a little bit rough shape, but to the constituents concerned, it is only adequate for only one vehicle. This is a view of the property from Vara Court. The picture on top is taken from next to the bridge. And the picture below is taken at the intersection of Carrillo and Vara. And then on the next picture, this picture was taken from Carrillo Lane. You can see, it's kind of hard to see from the scale, but there's a chain link fence separating this residential lot from the applicant's commercial lot. In the next slide, you'll see the aerial image showing the property once again outlined in a yellow line. Followed by the future land use map showing that this property under the Socorro 2040 comprehensive plan would be designated as regional commercial. These were the public notice letters that were sent to the constituents within 200 feet of the property, followed by the map showing which properties were notified for this conditional use permit. We didn't receive any feedback, any emailed responses or phone calls or emails in support or opposition for this conditional use permit request. And this is a site plan that was submitted showing the intent, which is to park commercial trucks on the property. And you can see where the gate, the entrance is, and the parking spaces for the commercial truck parking. And this is a supplemental document that was provided by the applicant showing a letter of petition signed by what appears to be constituents within the area supporting this conditional use permit request. And so once again, the request is for approval of a conditional use permit to allow for a commercial truck parking in a C2 general commercial zoning district, and a variance request from section 46-637, wall and fence requirements, subsection C, titled screening requirements between zoning districts, subsection 2B, to allow a 6-foot metal siding fence instead of a 6-foot masonry fence requirement at 10950 Alameda Avenue. And at this time, staff can answer any questions. We also have Mr. Quesada present to answer any questions as well.
Can we hear from the applicant, please?
Hello, I'm Manuel Quesada, the owner of that property. And about the tankers that the lady was talking about, those tankers are empty when they park right there in the property. And I have a permit from the fire marshal that there's no problem if those tankers are parked right there.
So I have a question. So the trucks that you will be parking there, will they be empty trailers?
Empty,
Empty trailers?
yes.
And so I have a question for the staff is, what is the weight capacity on that bridge?
We tried to find that answer in preparation for the meeting, but we could not gather that answer from TxDOT, and TxDOT provided a copy of inspection from April of 2024. It doesn't include it either. It doesn't state why the bridge doesn't need to have a load capacity posted, but we don't know the load for that, for the bridge.
Okay, so is the bridge a TxDOT issue?
No, it belongs to the city of
It
Socorro.
belongs to the city of Socorro. And so do we, the city of Socorro, have any future plans? for
To
the-
expand that bridge or to replace that bridge, no, currently we do not.
Okay. And so then I have a question for the applicant is, how long have you been operating there?
2 years, but
2 years.
But
And you have,
what I know is that for the last 20 years, there's been trucks operating in that property.
going in and out?
Yes. And the trash truck from the city of Socorro, that one weighs 60,000 pounds.
Okay. So-
And
so-
that weight is on the bridge at the same time. The trucks that I have, the truck comes there, and by the time that the trailer comes through there, you know, it's a lot less weight than the one that the trash truck has.
Okay. I think the residential issue is not so much about the trucks that are going in and
Well,
out.
and about that one too, I put another a stop sign, you know, before you get to the bridge, because back then there was only one stop sign. But I've told the drivers, you know, to stop before they get on the bridge.
Get on the bridge?
Yes, but sometimes when they're take off, that's when somebody it's coming over. So it's, you know, when you're in Alameda, you get from one point to the other pretty fast.
Okay.
Is there any other access to your property other than Carrillo Lane?
That's the only access, because what I know of that property, that bridge belonged to that property back then when it was, you know, wood. It was made out of wood, and that bridge was going into that property. But once that the owner sold the properties to the other people, they moved the fence, and they made that bridge into so it'll be on the street. That's why my address is on Alameda, because it used to be Alameda.
The address for the lot is Alameda.
Yes.
Jose, can you post one of the maps up so that they can see?
So while he's doing that, I have a question. So his current zoning is C2 general commercial, and he wants to do future land use for a neighborhood commercial?
No.
No.
So that was an error on the staff report. He mentioned neighborhood commercial as what is proposed in the 2040 comprehensive plan,
Okay.
but it's not. It's regional
Okay, so
commercial
Okay, so
is
it's,
what's proposed. His lot is already zoned commercial,
okay,
and we did research on that as well.
okay.
The recommendation at that time from the Planning and Zoning Department was to deny the request for the construction yard rezoning to C2. It was delayed a bit, went to council, and it was approved. So
Okay.
I don't have minutes, I don't have video to go back and answer any other details other than it was approved for a construction yard.
Okay. But today, all we're actually looking at is the variance,
A conditional use permit.
a
A
conditional.
conditional use permit to allow for commercial truck parking.
Okay. And can you explain the conditional use permit?
So all of the properties, some don't have zoning in the areas that were more recently annexed to the city. But for the most part, every property has a zoning, and with those zoning districts come uses that are allowed outright. When there are additional activities related to a use that could fit in C2 or in another district, it's just an additional oversight, an opportunity for the public to come and speak. Those that are affected by the decision are given notice and given the opportunity to come and speak and share their concerns or support for the request. So it's just additional uses that could impact a little more than those uses that are allowed outright. The other thing that we are working on in our ordinance rewrite is clarifying what a conditional use permit should be, is that it's conditional, it's special, if at any time it begins to interfere with activity in the neighborhood or the surrounding residents or property owners, then we can take it back to planning and zoning, take it back to city council and have it taken away. That is not an option in our current ordinance.
Okay.
And so let me get this right on the,
Interfere with two people, all the other ones that signed that it was okay.
So anybody who is in this neighborhood only has, and this doesn't show all of the properties, but you can kind of see from this image how many homes are on the property. In this neighborhood, and they only have access through that one, and they are currently developing those smaller homes on the bottom left as well. So it isn't, that would be something to look into for planning and zoning, for the city council meeting, how many actual residents are being affected. Some of these are vacant lots, but I believe all of the structures that are there are occupied.
Okay. And so all your property is right now chain link? All your property?
Yes.
Is
And
chain
and that would be another thing, I don't know
But
why
I'm
that was,
willing to make a metal fence, and I have some pictures of the fence that I can build. It's a clean fence, straight, sturdy fence.
Okay.
and just on that, our recommendation was to deny, but only because we would want folks to adhere to what the ordinance states, but as we're currently going through the ordinance, acknowledging that some of these restrictions are very strict and don't give opportunity for some leeway. This is a very large stretch of fence. I don't know why the original property owner who had the property rezoned from residential to commercial didn't put the fence in, because at the time that was a requirement, but I can't answer that question. And that again, and on the other hand, buyer beware. You're buying a property, sometimes you have to do a little more research regarding the property than, well, this is what I've been doing, this is how I've been doing it for years and years, and so that's another difficulty in making a decision and a recommendation.
But as it stands today, the ordinance
Would require a
requires
mason,
a masonry 6-foot wall, as it stands today.
yeah.
And all his neighbors have
No,
Not
it would be, again, this would be a requirement on the owner of the commercial property who's abutting residential.
okay.
And right now, it's kind of just the chain link. And some of the other one has,
That's why I want to build the metal fence, because the rock wall fence, it's a $48,000 to $50,000 fence, rock wall.
Yeah, that's,
it is a very long stretch along
uh-huh,
that backside of the property.
right. But the commercial businesses down on Alameda,
Oh, that's a difficult one. You'd have to go each one by one, because some of them were in place before that Rockwell ordinance came into
right.
effect, and some of them were there long before that, before the city of Socorro was incorporated,
okay.
and they were still part of the county.
Okay, so so would you have any recollection of any walls that have been built and the planning and zoning has approved a variance?
No, in the time that I've been here, in the 2 years that I've been here, we
No.
haven't made that, nobody's made that request.
Okay, so this would be the first. Okay. Okay.
and just in case I missed it, this is also for 18-wheelers, right? Or is it just?
18-wheelers and some mobile homes that I remodeled. With those mobile homes, they'll be there 3 months and they're out of there in It'll be no more than 3 mobile homes at a time.
And again, no issue with the mobile home. It was approved for a construction yard.
Okay.
On one of the pictures, I see that it's got a sign that says no commercial.
It is not a street.
It was already put there.
It had, been sorry, just to let you finish. Go ahead.
It was not there when I got the property. It was already put right there like 3 months ago.
And then to follow up on that, the sign was not there. It was replaced because it had been there before, and we've gone back through the Google map view, and you can see it.
Right.
And this street is not on our complete list of commercial truck routes. Thank you.
I have pictures of a couple of years back. There's a lot of commercial vehicles in there and a lot of heavy machinery. And the way it used to be, a lot of weeds and tires all over the place. Now I have, there's no tires there, there's no weeds. It's a clean property. It's more organized. I don't know.
Again, I would agree that it was brought to the property owner's attention that there was a lot of rubbish and there was some concerns from one individual neighbor, and he addressed a lot of those. But unfortunately, it brought all of this other information to our attention. I can't speak to in the past what was allowed there, what wasn't allowed there, and how long that business was there. But this was, again, brought to our attention, and he did, again, comply with a lot of the issues that were brought to his attention regarding the cleanliness of the property and just overall. So it's very well organized right now.
Does the WID have any say in this, since it goes on top of the canal?
No, that's a lease agreement between the city and the Water Improvement District. We lease the right to cross the irrigation canal. The bridge is ours. If something happens to it, we have to replace it.
Okay, so by looking at the map that I look at here, is that his property is actually the only commercial property?
Yes,
In that whole area, right?
yes.
And it's
And it
been
is
like
right,
that-
it is very big. And again, as people have described it, the very long history of commercial use, and
Okay,
the entrance is not too far away from the
from the street.
street.
Mhm,
So I want to say maybe halfway down
mhm,
is the entrance
mhm.
to his property.
Okay. And so when you park these trailers, I'm thinking that you're using it as an investment of income for you to park your trailers there. Is at one time, at any given time, how many trailers do you think you would have?
40.
40 trailers? Okay. All right.
And the trailers are never parked where the residential is.
On the side?
It's way far from the residential,
It's on the other side?
yes.
Okay. And the neighbor that is next to the applicant, he said he was okay?
I'm sorry.
The neighbor that is right next to his property, is he the one that spoke?
No. So
No.
all of those to the bottom,
Uh-huh.
with their backs to the commercial property,
Uh-huh.
those are all directly abutting that property. I do not know where and I apologize for not remembering his name. Mr. Trejo, I don't know where he lives. He didn't have an issue with it. The person who brought the concerns is not here. And regarding the other notifications, that we didn't receive any other items, notification either for or against from our letters. They did provide a support letter, and then Ms. Zuniga, who spoke to you with her concerns. Those were all of the comments we received
Okay.
regarding specifically the case.
Okay.
But to the gentleman that initially raised the concerns, he is not here, and he did not provide any other feedback regarding this particular request.
Okay.
So the support letter you mentioned is a petition that has the 10 signatures on there, and it says letter of support provided by applicant,
And that was provided by the applicant. They went and spoke to the neighbors.
and so these are neighbors that are okay with.
Okay with him.
Mhm.
Okay. Can,
Per-
okay, so I'm sorry, I'm gonna ask you to permit of the trucks being parked there.
Yes, the conditional use permit for the park. It is an old, as Ms. Zuniga explained, those were along the lines of the concerns that staff had, that there is only one entrance, that the bridge is very narrow, and we don't know a lot about the integrity of the bridge, but it is fine. So those would be our biggest concerns regarding the request. Now, you can approve with some conditions, with not as many commercial trucks, if you feel that the denial outright is not fair. But that would be, those would be our concerns.
Aside from the condition of the bridge, does the staff have any other concerns
No.
other than the bridge? Okay, and then, it seems like the bridge is an issue not only for this applicant, but for all of the neighbors in that, everybody. And it seems like if the ditch wasn't there and if the bridge wasn't there, that this would more than likely get approved. And in my mind, mostly because it's right up along Alameda. It seems like a good use for the land. It's almost 5 acres, 4.6 acres. If it was a smaller lot, maybe not so much, maybe if it was an acre or less. But I think the issue is with the bridge itself, but I don't see why the applicant should be, I don't know if punished is the right word, but I think it's a city issue, not an applicant issue. Right? And it's not just this applicant. I think I'm not familiar with the bridge. It's just we can't go in there. But I think that, I guess whoever's responsible for the bridge should take care of the bridge to better service that
The
community,
community.
rather than deny the applicant what he's trying to do with his land, because I think it's a good idea. It's a good use for the land. It's already zoned commercial. We're not considering rezoning. It's just a conditional use. So those are my thoughts on that.
Thank you.
Okay, I don't have any.
I'm letting know residents from Socorro that park their trucks like in the residential place. I can give some cards that you can go park your truck over there instead of in the residential place.
Because you're providing a service, I guess, right? Rather than parking
Yeah.
in the residential neighborhood, in smaller lots. Good one.
I agree with Mr. Estrada, too. I don't think it should be the applicant's problem.
Yes, I think the city of Socorro should take the lead to maybe try and look at the repairing of the bridge, maybe on the next budget that they have to be able to expand the bridge. Because I think, like Mr. Estrada said, it's not about just his business, it's about all the community that lives there. It's everybody that lives there. Because 2 cars cannot go side by side, we already know that. And it doesn't have to be a truck, just 2 vehicles cannot go side by side. So maybe you all can take the lead to say that the bridge needs to be looked at and repaired and expanded. Okay. All right, so I'm ready.
Are you okay with everything? You have anything else to say?
Well, even like for the people, like she said, that when she's coming to Alameda, I don't know if the city can do something on Alameda, where they're on the side, where they
Can you speak into the microphone, please?
maybe they can do something on the side of Alameda, where the cars are coming, and if there's a car on the bridge, they can go to the side.
Or like a turning lane?
Mhm.
Yeah, that would be difficult since the right-of-way is already tight. That's Alameda, is
Right.
TxDOT, and the irrigation, the water improvement district. They're right up against each other. So that would be something that we would need to coordinate, so not saying that that's not possible, but the water improvement district and TxDOT would need to be brought in to address that.
Okay.
And yes, our staff is always looking for opportunities to go after funds for these larger scale projects that involve a lot of a big budget, because it's a lot of construction, a lot of engineering, a lot of coordination, and yeah, they take time. But staff is really, really good about keeping an eye out for possible funding opportunities.
And I think I just want to say one last thing to the applicant is, we talk about a variance from going from a masonry rock to a metal
Siding.
metal siding on the fence, and I think we would like to encourage him to make it look nice, you know. I mean, we see a lot of metal fences that are patched up, or a lot of fences that go up that are just have screening, and then the wind blows them down. So I think that if a variance is to be approved today, is that there has to be some kind of a plan to say.
Definitely. Yeah, no, and again, things that have changed over time. Probably back when this was originally written, that was a high end, and maybe it didn't cost as much. And now there's more variety, more options that are more cost effective and can last just as long. So again, something that we're looking at as we update the ordinance.
Okay,
So again, all at your discretion.
okay.
Did you have pictures on the
Yes.
fence?
Yes.
Can we,
Yes, sir.
can we take a-
Okay. Yes, this was what I was talking about. Yeah, something like that, industrial would look nice, yes, absolutely. Okay,
Thank you for sharing.
okay, thank you. Okay, I don't have any more questions.
Any questions?
I'm good.
Okay, I'm ready.
I'll make a motion to approve as it's requested, both for the conditional use permit to allow for the commercial truck parking and for the alternative fencing.
And I second.
I have a motion made by David Estrada, second by Yolanda Rodriguez, to approve with the conditional use permit requested and the waiver fence, the variance requested for the fence. Yes? All those in favor of the motion?
Aye.
Any nays? Any abstain? Motion carried. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Item number 7, public hearing for the proposed amendment to the City of Socorro's master plan and rezoning of track 1-J and 1-J-1, Block 6, Socorro Grant, located at 270 North Nevadas Road, Socorro, Texas, from A1 agricultural to C2 general commercial to allow for a self-storage facility. Mr. Arroyos?
Good afternoon, we open public hearing at 6:10.
We have no one that would like to speak on this item.
So we will close public hearing at 6:10.
Thank you. Item number 8, consider and take action on the proposed amendment to the City of Socorro's master plan and rezoning of track 1-J and 1-J-1, Block 6, Socorro Grant, located at 270 North Nevadas Road, Socorro, Texas, from A1 agricultural to C2 general commercial to allow for a self-storage facility. Mr. Botella?
Good evening, Mr. Chair and Commissioners. Item number 8 on the agenda is the rezoning request at 270 North Nevadas Road. So some general information on this rezoning request. The property owner and representative is Ms. Brenda Coca Mendoza. She's also joining us through Zoom. The lot size for this property is 5.82 acres. The property is currently zoned A1, which is agricultural. The current land use is vacant, and the future land use map has this property listed as ICMU, which is industrial commercial mixed use. And the summary of this request is for approval of a rezoning of a property from A1 to C2 to allow for a self-storage facility, and staff recommends approval of this rezoning request. Give me one moment. There you go. So the next slide, you'll see the property is situated along Nevares Road within close vicinity to the Isla Lateral. For the zoning map, you'll see the property outlined in a red line, the green denoting the A1 agricultural zoning district, followed by some pictures that were taken of the property from North Nevares Road. Followed by an aerial image showing the property in its entirety. You can see some vehicles, but the property has been cleaned up since then. And this is a future land use map showing the purple overlay, which would be the ICMU district, followed by the public notice letters that were sent to the constituents within 200 feet of this property. You can see the properties that were notified in light purple color. The property requesting to be rezoned is in green color. For this, we didn't receive any public feedback for this rezoning request. And then followed by the site plan that was submitted showing the intent, which is to establish a self-storage facility. The blue that you see would be the units that the applicant is proposing to establish on his property. And the entrance would be through Nevares Road. And so once again, the request is for approval of a rezoning of a property from A1 to C2 to allow for a self-storage facility. And at this time, staff can answer any questions.
I know that the City of Socorro is already working on the improvement of Nevares Road to be widened up into four lanes, correct?
That is correct.
And that's going to be moving along within the next, I think, pretty much within a year, 2 years at the most or whatnot, right? Looking at this, I just wanted to throw that in so that, because I do think that's a great location for a self-storage, and it could be an improvement from what's there right now.
The aerial view shows a lot of vehicles there and stuff. You mentioned it was vacant, but is this an outdated photo, or is it completely vacant, or is it used for some type of storage of vehicles or something?
So it was, I believe there was a notice violation issued for the vehicles, which have been cleaned up. And to, I guess, to take advantage of the property, the applicant came in to discuss some plans that he had, the most feasible one being the self-storage facility.
Okay. Okay.
Any questions?
No questions.
I don't have any questions.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
I have a motion made by Andrew Arroyos, second by Julia Dominguez to approve. All those in favor of the motion?
Aye.
Aye.
Any nays? Any abstain? Motion carried. Item number 9, public hearing request for the proposed conditional use permit and variance request from section 46-237, conditional use, requires permit subsection 5A to allow, to allow a 0.459 acres property instead of the half-acre requirement to allow for commercial truck parking in an R1 single-family residential zoning district on a lot 24, block 4, La Jolla subdivision, located at 155 Santa Paula Drive, Socorro, Texas. Mr. Arroyos?
We will open public hearing at 6:16. Nobody? Okay, so we will close public hearing at 6:16. Do we have somebody?
Yes.
I'm sorry.
Okay,
If you may reopen public hearing?
we will reopen public hearing at 6:17.
And then we have Mr. Jose Ayala that would like to speak on item number 9. Alcala? I'm sorry, Jose Alcala.
Mr. Alcalá, can you hear us? Mr. Señor Alcalá, ¿no puede escuchar?
Ya, dígame.
Ya estamos en item number 9, por si desea hablar en open forum.
Perdón, no lo escuché bien.
Que ya estamos en item number 9 de open forum, por si quiere hablar.
A ver, mija, ¿sí me entiendes, mija?
Pero explica lo que está pasando.
¿Le explico? Pues que necesito yo la troca en la casa porque la troca me sirve para irme a mi trabajo y del trabajo regreso a la casa. Me sirve de transporte para ir a trabajar y luego ya regreso. La troca está ahí 2 o 3 días nada más porque yo salgo a la carretera, ando subiendo regularmente, subo hasta Missouri y salgo el domingo y de este regreso el miércoles y vuelvo a salir el domingo y por el momento yo necesito que me den permiso de poner la troca en la casa. Yo la tengo encima de cemento y yo ahorita yo estoy viviendo solo. Yo me salgo de la troca, me sirve de transporte para ir a trabajar. Y regreso.
Sí, es todo.
Es todo.
Muchas gracias.
Anybody else?
That would be all.
So we will close public hearing at 6:19.
Thank you. Item number 10, consider and take action on the proposed conditional use permit and variance request from section 46-237. Conditional uses requires permit subsection 5A to allow a 0.459 acre property instead of the half-acre requirement to allow for commercial truck parking in an R1 single-family residential zoning district on Lot 24, Block 4, La Joya subdivision located at 155 Santa Paula Drive, Socorro, Texas. Mr. Botello?
Good evening, Mr. Chair and Commissioners. Item number 10 on the agenda is the conditional use permit request at 155 Santa Paula Drive. Some general information on this conditional use permit request. The property owner and representative is Mr. Jose Alcala. The lot size is 20,003 square feet, which is roughly about 0.45 acres. The zoning for this property is R1, which is single-family residential. The land use for this property is residential. The future land use map lists this property as a suburban residential. And the request is for approval of a conditional use permit and variance request from section 46-237. Conditional uses requires permit to allow a 0.459 acre property instead of the half-acre requirement to allow for commercial truck parking in an R1 single-family residential zoning district. And planning and zoning staff recommends approval of this conditional use permit and variance request. So on the next slide, you'll see the property is situated along Santa Paula Drive. The following slide, you'll see the zoning map. The property is outlined in a red line, the yellow meaning it's zoned R1, which is single-family residential. These are some pictures that were taken of the property from Santa Paula Drive, I'm sorry. Followed by an aerial image. The property would be outlined in a yellow line. Followed by the future land use map. Yellow meaning the suburban residential. These were the letters that were sent to the constituents within a 200-foot radius of the property. And you can see which properties were notified in a light teal, light green color. On this one, we did receive one phone call in opposition for the conditional use permit request. And this is a site plan that was submitted showing that the intent is to park the truck towards the rear of the property. And once again, the summary of the request is for approval of a conditional use permit and variance request from section 46-237. Conditional uses requires permit to allow a 0.459 acre property instead of the half acre requirement to allow for commercial truck parking in an R1 single family residential zoning district. And at this time, staff can answer any questions.
I have a question. So you're in favor of the permit, and I'd like to understand why. Is there a reasoning as to why you have you're saying that this should be approved and not denied? I believe last year I attended a city council meeting, and I know that in one of those city council meetings, there was an approval for the cab trailers to be parked in some residential, but I think those were 1 acre lots, if I recall. So I think this one is smaller. I mean, and you have a lot of homes in this area, like, it's pretty populated there.
Right, so the additional restrictions that were passed with that amendment was that the property had to be half an acre. And so this is just a little bit under half an acre, and when we met with the applicant, that's his primary source of income. He stated that it's a little bit difficult for him to find a commercial truck parking late in the hours. So it's a benefit for him a benefit and a convenience for him to park the vehicle on his property. And it's just within the half acre requirement.
It's just short. Of an acre,
Just short.
the half acre. Okay. Because that ordinance does apply to the whole city of Socorro, right? The one that I was talking about.
Correct.
That they approved last year. I know I was at a meeting, and I know I heard the conversation, so, but it was only for the cab.
We can clarify that, but if, the ordinance that Jose is using and that this gentleman, and just to clarify, that was the applicant who spoke on the phone, just to make sure everybody
Yes, yes,
was
right.
clear on that.
Right.
That this is from that ordinance.
Okay.
So only the lots that are smaller than half an acre cannot have.
So
Yes,
this-
the-
Right,
correct.
so this one is just shy of.
Just
half-
shy.
Just shy of the half acre. Okay, and you only had one opposition out of all the letters that you sent out? One that said no?
one phone call.
Okay, one phone call, and it wasn't the neighbor, like next door, like,
I wouldn't
Or
know
you
as
don't
far
know?
as to the address.
Yeah.
okay.
The current ordinance allows for parking for the tractor and the trailer, or just the truck?
No,
just
it
the
was
tractor?
just supposed to be the cab, is what I understood. There was no trailer attached, I think. When I went to that city council meeting, it was only the cab, no trailer, no hook, no hooked-on trailer, it was only the cab. So, am I wrong on that?
So the ordinance was passed in January 5th, 2023, and under the conditional use permit, this is section 46-237, parking of commercial vehicles, provided that under A, the property on which the vehicle is parked consists of lots 1/2 acre or more in size. B, no mechanical work shall be allowed at such property. C, vehicles must be parked on a concrete slab. The location of the slab cannot interfere with on-site ponding areas. D, vehicles shall not idle for more than 15 minutes at a time. E, only one vehicle may be allowed per lot. The vehicle must stay on site and at no time shall it be parked on the public street or right-of-way. And the last condition, F, at no time shall tractor trailers be allowed to be stored on a residential lot.
Tractor trailers.
Yeah.
So if this were to, let's say, were to go through, right, we would pass it or whatnot, can it be with a conditional that only the truck be parked and not the trailer, or is that something that's out of?
Well, it's part of the restrictions that are tied to this request, and these are restrictions that were explained to the applicant.
So he understands that it would just be the tractor itself, not a
Correct.
trailer?
Yes, sir,
Just
correct.
the cab. And he already has a concrete slab there?
Yes.
He does.
The picture.
That picture has a piece, that's where
It's the
he's,
last
that is at his house right now, okay. All right. Okay.
Any questions?
No, I don't have questions, I just,
I think he needs to go rent from the first applicant.
I was gonna say that maybe you can call him and.
All right, okay, so looking at this right here, right, these old subdivisions are typically 10,000 square foot lots, typically. This these are larger lots, this is 20,000 square feet. So it's right under a full acre, or right under a half acre,
yeah.
by like 1,000 something square feet, I think, that's what the map is. But I think what it does is that the ordinance is there stating half an acre, and allowing the variance opens it up to everybody,
Absolutely.
because that, we're giving the variance. And so all of these lots, well, I'm not saying all of them, but the majority of them were 10,000 acre lots, 20,000 acre lots, right? 20,000 feet lots, 20,000 square feet, 10,000 square feet. If these are combined, then it equals 20,000 square feet. It's right under half an acre. And Socorro is full of communities like this, and so allowing the variance, it just seems that, and so I think the ordinance is there. I thought it was an acre, anything less than it wasn't, but I don't
Yeah, I thought it
remember.
was an
It's
acre.
passed, it's there saying half an acre, so I don't think we should allow the variance for that reason, but I do understand that there's a lot of space over there
Yeah.
that they can utilize. So. So on that.
Just by looking at all the lots right here on this page right here, it shows more or less that all of them are the same size, right? About 20,000 square feet?
Correct.
And so you do one and then,
Yeah.
Yeah. And so where does this street end up at? The street, where does it come out to? Alameda, North Loop, where does it come out to?
Where is it?
Because I don't see where it's coming out from.
this is Alameda, right? This is North Loop. Alameda's right there. And so you access on Place, on Buford.
Okay, so it's back there, it's in the back. Okay.
I agree with you, Mr. Estrada. We open up, we let him, and then we might get other ones, and that might be a little bit smaller than what this guy has,
All right.
and we would kind of have to follow that. But at the same time, I'm looking at all these lots that are the same size, and if he were to be had with the conditional acceptance that he knows that it's only the tractor, not the trailer. I'm kind of in the middle.
Yeah, that's tough.
Are there a lot of issues with people violating the ordinance, like throughout the city?
I know code enforcement is actively, pursuing people that are not, that haven't acquired a conditional use permit or parking on public right-of-ways. And so it's something that they're working on.
So did he have to apply for this permit because he got caught? Or no? Or do you know? Was he given a warning or because he was parking his vehicle there already?
Is he still on the phone? You can ask him. And while he's asking on the phone, the Santa Paula, that little street that you can see at the bottom of the map, crosses the Socorro lateral and will take you to Place. So from Place, you can get to Alameda or Socorro.
Okay, that's what he told me. Okay.
So I'm gonna throw in the warehousing that we have going up, right? And we've already discussed in other meetings that we're a huge trucking area,
Right.
right? So Coral's getting a ton of warehousing. We're gonna have a ton of people coming in with trucks. Some of these people might live in our area. I think we need to be strict with parking and with warehousing also, but, and I think we should start with this one. We just need to enforce it, because who knows? Who knows? We have so many warehouses coming up. It could be in our neighborhood next.
Right.
It could be a variance next door
Mhm.
to any one of us, right? So I appreciate the large lots. I appreciate that there's a lot of space, but I just think it opens up.
I totally agree. I think we open up the floodgates. If we approve this one, then everybody else within that little area that drives a tractor trailer, they're gonna start saying, oh, I can park mine too, so let me do it too. And I think as we know, the streets that are in Socorro are not well-maintained as it is, that they're already falling apart on us. And so then I think that's another problem that we have. I totally understand the hardship for him to have to find a location and have to park his vehicle someplace else. But I mean, he is a trucker. I mean, this is part of that. So I think, I agree that, that we cannot do a variance if it does not meet the requirements on the ordinance that was just set up in 2023.
I'll make a motion if I can.
Anybody else have any questions?
No.
Go ahead.
I'll make the motion to deny the variance.
I second.
I have a motion made by Julie Dominguez, second by Andrew Arroyos to deny. All those in favor of the motion?
Aye.
Aye.
Any abstain? Any nays? Motion carried. Item number 11, consider and take action on a tabled item from the March 18, 2025 meeting on an ordinance to amend Chapter 46, zoning Article 5 supplemental regulations for all districts, Section 46-631, off-street parking requirements. Mr. Botello?
Good evening, Mr. Chair and Commissioners. I'd like to request to postpone the item to give staff a little bit more time to wrap up this request.
We make a motion to postpone.
Second.
I have a motion made by Andrew Arroyos, second by Julie Dominguez to approve. All those in favor of the motion?
Aye.
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 Any nays? Any abstain? Motion carried. Item number 12, Planning and Zoning Commissioners Report.
I don't have anything.
Thank you. Item number 13, Planning and Zoning Department Report. Ms. Quimito or Mr. Botello?
Thank you, Marian. Due to the weather, I'd say I don't have a development director report. Be careful driving out there. They already issued a dust advisory. Thank you.
Thank you. Item number 14, consider and take action on the adjournment of this meeting. Do I have a motion?
I make a motion to adjourn.
Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a motion made by Andrew Arroyos, second by Julie Dominguez to adjourn. All those in favor of the motion?
Aye.
Any nays? Any abstain? Motion carried, meeting adjourned at 6:37 PM. Thank you very much.